1 in 7,000 people, according to his unpublished analysis, was born to parents who were first-degree relatives, a brother and a sister, or a parent and a child.
Welcome to Guys We...
Oh, greetings, fuckers. How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Guys We Fucked.
It's the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome to the show. If you are in Salt Lake City, make sure to buy tickets to September 26th to see me at Wise Guys. One night only. Tickets available at CorinneFisher.com.
If you want to email us, it is SorryAboutLastNightShow at gmail.com. Today's subject line, how to start working on a low sex drive. I'm emailing because I'm hoping to see if you guys have any thoughts on how to revive or bring back a spark to someone with a low sex drive. That person, unfortunately, is me. I understand you both are very sexual people, and from listening to your podcasts, have high to normal sex drives. For some background, I have a really great boyfriend of 6 years. I'm more experienced sexually, more partners, and a little more vocal about what I like, etc. But we're not collectively a very sexually experienced duo. I'm 26, he's 25. We're each other's first serious relationship. In my opinion, this has nothing to do with my boyfriend, as I am very attracted to him. He's an incredible, patient, and understanding person. However, I'm getting to a point where I either don't have the energy or the desire to have sex at all. We're in a great place in our relationship, so I'm not entirely sure where my low interest is coming from. I think about sex a lot, and at random times become really horny, but towards the later half of the day, when we have more opportunity to have sex, I'm not really interested or have no energy. Well, that might be a diet thing. I really want to work on this, as I want to have a fun sex life with a guy I really love. Any thoughts? Thanks for reading my small novel. So I would look into, I don't know if you have a primary care doctor, but I would look into like getting blood work done, getting your hormones checked and tested. I think that's something that's kind of been thrown around in my personal circles lately about getting your hormones checked. Making sure you're exercising, because those things are going to really up your energy level. And then doing I think mutual masturbation is so overlooked, and it's a really fun activity. And you're gonna come if you're both doing yourselves next to each other. You could try that. I don't know if you're a fan of porn, watching porn. You could wear a wig. You could do one of you blindfolded, one of you not. You could go to a strip club and just go around and look and have fun and leave. You can go to a sex club for 10 minutes and leave, or stay if you're liking it. There's a lot of things you can do, but I would say those are more extreme examples. Start with jerking off next to each other.
I also just think you're tired, and like this is just you're gonna keep getting more tired as you get older.
It's true.
Unless you become like, well, I'm like, unless you like hit the lottery or something. I mean, I'm guessing like you have a job, you have to do a bunch of things. So yeah, at the end of the day, after you do all the work, you get tired.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You've been together for 6 years, do you live together? Do you like morning sex? Why don't you try having sex at a different time? I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, we have to get all the things that we need to get done in the day done and then have sex.
Yeah.
But you have to prioritize sex if you're not having it. So, I mean, like, I fucking hate morning sex.
Me too.
But a lot of guys like it.
They do.
I don't know why.
That's the last time I want to have sex.
Me too. I hate, it feels like sexual assault, honestly.
I'm not even barely awake.
It's not, yeah, I do not like it. But I mean, if that's better for you,
then he could compromise for one day of the week.
Yeah, I feel like you're saving it as the last thing to do, as if it is not a priority. And we see this a lot, that sex is kind of like the last thing, like it's some kind of a treat. And you have to start thinking about it as a regular and important part of a functioning romantic relationship, right? Because otherwise, you guys are just good friends. So that's
good friends don't fuck.
That's that. You know, and it's like you say, you're in a great place in our relationship, and then you say things like, he's an incredible, patient, and understanding person. None of those things have ever made me want to fuck anyone.
Patience kind of makes me want to fuck people.
Doesn't make me want to fuck
because
anyone.
I admire that quality.
Yeah, none of those things are.
And I'm curious, like when you get horny at random times, like what's happened? Like what time is that? A certain time of the day? Like, and it's just literally for no reason. You know, I'd be,
Yeah, it's like, are you eating a big dinner and then trying to fuck? Like, don't carb load at night if you want to fuck.
Yeah, treat it like a marathon. You know what I mean?
Maybe don't eat dessert. I don't know. For me, like dessert and sex fill the same need. So like,
totally
don't eat. Like
Dude.
if I want to keep myself horny, I eat less that night.
Yeah, same. Dude, there's this dessert hummus.
Yeah, the chocolate hummus. It's really good.
I can't.
So
I
good.
buy it. It's gone in an hour.
It sounds
The
like it
whole
would be
thing.
disgusting, but it's really, really good.
Deceptively delicious.
Yeah,
I think it's Boar's Head or something like that is the company that makes it.
Yeah, a bunch of places
Crazy.
make it now, but yeah, it's when I was like chocolate hummus, I was like, oh, this
Y'all.
sounds disgusting. But it's basically like chocolate pudding with protein.
Yeah, it tastes like mousse. It's so delicious, guys.
really
Don't
good.
sleep on that chocolate hummus. It's
really good.
So lady who wrote us, maybe that'll do it for you. Or just have yourself a treat either way.
Our prescription is chocolate hummus.
Honestly, I'm gonna start prescribing that for everything. Okay. As you know, I got a Patreon. You should sign up for it. There's a couple different levels. One of them, you could just listen to all of the weekly Zoom therapy chats that I have with people from all around the world. We get into really poignant personal things with a bunch of strangers, and it's surprisingly potent. When you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, which a lot of us do, it's very easy to remember that all that stress, it's all just caused by your braining, okay? And sometimes when you just talk it out, you go, that's silly. I don't really need to worry about that. And everybody's like, yay. And you just leave the space a lot less stressed out. So sign up for my patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. And every Monday, I have a self-help podcast that I'm going to start getting into ghosts and aliens on the voices in our heads. It comes out every single Monday with Michael Big Dicky Dong Coscarelli's network, Slickback Studios. He is the second mic on my show. So if you miss him, you can hear from him, and pretty soon we're going to be having a meeting him on, and it's going to be the best. So subscribe, and you can watch full episodes on Slickback Studios YouTube channel.
All right. And Without a Country, we are now an independent podcast, and we've changed a little bit how we do the show. Not too much. Like if you're a regular wacko, it'll still be a familiar format. But you can head to YouTube and go to the Without a Country podcast channel. Thank you so much. A ton of you guys subscribed last week, so I appreciate that. So you're going to head over to there. You're going to subscribe, and then we go live now 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays for the show, and you can call in like C-SPAN style, and then we go over the news of the week, things that you might have missed. We do a lot on domestic violence. We do a lot on animal rights. It's a super fun show. I mean, fun in that you're learning. It's not like fun in that you're like, wow, the world is great. But you need to be informed because they're slowly taking away our rights. We actually did a whole episode last week on how it's not just like, ooh, a coincidence that women's rights are getting taken away. It's actually a very thought out plan by conservative Christian America. They literally have pretty big conferences about it that everyone somehow kept a secret for many years. And they do things like reverse Roe v. Wade. Like that was something they were working on for a long time, and they achieved it. So please know, these are not accidents. I think we kind of, as liberals, we kind of turn our nose up or scoff at conservative Christians, but they
get shit done.
Very well organized and have a sense of community. And unfortunately, they're using that sense of community to take away our rights. So please keep informed. Without a Country podcast every Wednesday. And of course, audio when it comes up the following day, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Don't sleep on those Christian groups, guys. They're doing stuff while we're sleeping.
They are.
I want to read an excerpt from an article from The Atlantic. This is very interesting. DNA tests are uncovering the true prevalence of incest.
Oh.
This is very alarming. This is an excerpt from The Atlantic by Sarah Zhang, originally posted in March 2024. In 1975, a psychiatric textbook put the frequency of incest at 1 in a million. In the 1980s, just like us, we're all 1 in a million. Ooh. In the 1980s, feminist scholars argued, based on the testimonies of victims, that incest was far more common than recognized. But no one believed them because they were ladies. And in recent years, DNA has offered a new kind of biological proof. Widespread genetic testing is uncovering cases after secret case of children born to close biological relatives, providing an unprecedented accounting of incest in modern society. The geneticist Jim Wilson at the University of Edinburgh was shocked by the frequency he found in the UK Biobank, an anonymized research database. 1 in 7,000 people, according to his unpublished analysis, was born to parents who were first-degree relatives, a brother and a sister, or a parent and a child. This gets way bleaker, guys. That's way, way more than I think many people would ever imagine, he told me.
I love that quote. I'm so glad they included that.
And this number, it's scientific. And this number is just a floor. It reflects only the cases that resulted in pregnancy, good point, that did not end in miscarriage or abortion.
I'm going to throw up.
And that led to the birth of a child who grew into an adult who volunteered for a research study. So
wow.
They are pulling from a very random fucking pool. So
it's 1 in 7,000 of people
these
who they got pregnant and then signed up to do this test, testing.
Yeah. Most of the people affected.
So it's like 1 in 1,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most people affected may never know about their parentage, but these days...
Look in the mirror.
Yeah, right? These days, many are stumbling into the truth after Ancestry DNA and 23andMe tests. Neither Ancestry DNA nor 23andMe test informs customers about incest directly. So the 1,000-plus cases, genetic genealogist C.C. Moore knows of all come from the tiny proportion of testers who investigated further.
Oh my God, can we actually just get an email from 23andMe being like,
hey girl, you sitting down?
Your dad's your husband.
Oopsies. This meant genealogy sites. This meant, for example, uploading their DNA profiles to a third-party genealogy site to analyze what are known as the runs of homozygosity. Not going to try to say it. Homozygosity. That's probably not right, but you know what? We tried. Or ROH. I'll stick with that. Long stretches where the DNA inherited from one's mother and father are identical. So this is how we find them. For a while, one popular genealogy site instructed anyone who found high ROH to contact Moore. She would call them one by one to explain the jargon's explosive meaning. Unwittingly, she became the keeper of what might be the world's largest database of people born out of incest. In an overwhelming majority of cases, Moore told me, the parents are a father and a daughter, or an older brother and a younger sister, meaning a child's existence was likely evidence of sexual abuse.
I was gonna say, I was like, that was a nice way of saying, men, at it again, you know?
You guys, really? 8 for 8, 100 for 100. Y'all are winning.
What a surprise. Something disgusting happened. I wonder who could possibly be behind it.
Men. She had no obvious place to send people reeling from such revelations, and she was not herself a trained therapist. So this is a lot of oopsies by men's part. I was floored by that. I could not believe that they. First of all, the 1 in a million. They posed that, if they were saying that in the 70s or 60s or whatever. I'm like, yeah, right?
Oh, see, the minute I heard that, I go, that's incorrect. I believe
no
it.
way. I'm like, yeah.
It's definitely, I knew it was more common than that, but to then go back to 1 in 7,000, that's a huge disparity between those things.
And that's just the UK.
Exactly. And that's just a volunteer selection of people. So I think 1 in 1,000 is actually much more accurate.
But I mean, also it's, when you think about it, like it's culturally, like, so UK, we're going first world. That's the stats in a first world country.
Yeah.
I'm sure they get higher in.
I'm betting you they do.
The other countries.
But the other
Alabama.
Alabama's not a country.
Arkansas. That country, Arkansas, got a lot of daddy-daughter babies.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then you look, oh, Jesus. But then I'm like, well, what is it? When you are inbred, that's a lot of health issues, man, right? I would think.
Yeah.
But like, I know that there's a lot of, not maybe inbreeding is not the right word, but like cousins. Is that inbreeding? That's not inbreeding.
I mean, you're not supposed to fuck your first cousin.
Yeah. Well, tell Alabama that.
Yeah. Well, it happens a lot in religious communities.
I was going to say the Hasidic Jewish community.
Yeah, that's why they all have glasses.
Yeah. Thick ones.
I mean, because
little kids got thick glasses.
It's not like you're necessarily fucking, a first, a really close relative. But if you're only dipping into the same pool over and over again because you only will mate with other Hasidic Jews, it's just using the same thing over and over again. And also, you're pooling together like the same ethnicity, right?
Right.
So
and you want to keep it in the group.
Even the same thing happens in dogs. When mutts statistically have way better health because they are mixed.
Yes.
Whereas purebreds are only the same breed over and over again, so the same problems keep happening.
Yep.
It's the same.
Get those dogs spayed or neuter, babies.
Same logic.
Yeah. So, guys, it made me want to go see my DNA to see if I have any of that ROH, but I'm like, you know what? Enough surprises for this year.
Yeah, I feel like you're maybe.
I did need pretty strong glasses at a young age, but that was like 6th grade.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, me too. I'm pretty sure I'm not inbred, but
Fingers crossed.
yeah, no, I think I'm good. But and also it's nice because my dad being Jewish and my mom being not a shiksa,
Shiksa goddess.
we bringing it together, like that's helpful.
Yeah.
That makes you strong like bull. All right. Well, I also have brought an article to the table. I just saw this in Vox and I thought it would be perfect for our show specifically. It says, I help people decide if they want kids. Here is my advice. And it's an article written by a parenthood clarity therapist. And she explains how she helps fence sitters make one of the most important decisions of their life. Her name is Ann Davidman. And so there's a whole lead up to this, but basically she gives like 6 things to think about. And she said, here are a few tips to get you started. Number 1, begin with deciding to take a designated break, 1 to 3 months, from any discussion about the topic of having children with your partner. If you're single, stop ruminating about it or talking about it with others. During this time, decide not to know what you want or what you're going to do. No more thinking one way or the other.
Cool. Check.
Number 2, accept that indecision is more complex than what's on the surface and not because something is wrong with you. 3,
check.
Stop trying to figure this out by making a pros and cons list. It will keep you stuck. If you're doing it for the 3rd or umpteenth time and you're not getting anywhere, then doing it one more time is not the solution.
Word.
4, make a list of 3 decisions that you've made because you knew in your gut it was the right decision for you. Write a few sentences on each one describing the sensation of how good it felt to have made them. This is the sensation you deserve to experience when you're deciding yes to parenthood or yes to a child-free life.
Ooh, I love that.
5, create separation between desire and decision by putting the decision to the sidelines until clarity of your desire is known. To do this, make a list of all your fears related to this decision. Then list all the specifics or externals in your life that you can't stop thinking about. Some examples are age, health, career, relationship status, etc. Then put these 2 lists in an envelope and put that envelope out of sight. Do not look at it or entertain anything in it until you have clarity of your desire and you know why you want what you want. The why is important, not because you owe anyone an explanation, but because you need to know what is driving your desire from the inside out so that you can be honest with yourself. 6, do some old-fashioned stream of consciousness writing with these prompts. 1 says, I've always thought that by now my life would look like ellipses.
Sorry.
Did you have a different vision? Yeah. Then read.
I like this. This is great.
Then read. Like, what did you think was going to be going on right now?
I just thought I'd be an Oscar winner by now.
Oh, me too. I mean, that's just obviously.
I'm living in a couple houses, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that
I can go in.
I thought I would have an Oscar by the time I was 16, so I'm a little late on that. Then read what you just wrote and write about how it feels to read it. Bad.
Feels like shit, God.
It feels not good. Next prompt is, what verbal and nonverbal messages did you receive from your parents, community, religion, and society about you becoming a parent? That one's actually really easy for me because I never had any pressure. I mean, society gives pressure, but other than that, never had any pressure to have...
That's great.
A kid. Certainly not from my parents. Certainly not from religion. Community. I mean, I guess sometimes every now and then people would be like, are you sure? But
no one ever asked me if I was like, really, you don't want kids? I don't think everyone's really asked me that.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Because you're childlike. It's not a bad thing though. I just think that
No, I am.
like
I
people
started with
think
the new-
of you as you're younger, like that as
I
you're
do
younger
too.
than you are because of your demeanor.
Yeah, and what I eat and what I buy and what I do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think people were like, oh, I hope Gilda Radner has a kid soon, you know?
Yeah, right,
She's like
right,
crawling
right.
around, making tiger sounds or whatever, it's just,
Yeah.
let's see, make the decision of yes to having / raising a baby and live with that decision for 5 days. Kind of what you were saying before.
Yeah.
During that time, write daily about how you I'm getting hives, about how you feel about the decision you are pretending to have made. Don't bargain with the decision. The
Yeah.
more you can buy into having made the decision, the more information you'll receive about yourself.
Well, that one time I had an actual pregnancy scare, which I'd never had one before. I was like so calm.
When was this?
It was like 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was like totally happy and calm. And I was very surprised by that.
Right. Yeah. Well, also at this age, it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can have them. Okay, cool. I almost got immediately more mature.
well,
It was
I mean,
weird.
yeah, I think you have to. And also, I feel like the thing is, it's just like men are like many times when they have a kid are still childlike, and
Yeah.
then they either roll
up or
into the
don't.
position or they don't, and we see that on Father's Day on Instagram. The next one says, make the decision to live a child-free life for 5 days. I'm running through fields of flowers. During that time,
also
write
sounds
daily
fun.
about how you feel about the decision you are pretending to have made. Don't bargain with the decision. The more you can trick your mind into the decision being made, the more information you'll receive about yourself.
Okay.
Then next prompt is, what would it take or what would have to happen in order for you to say yes to parenthood and feel good about it? I actually
Millions
do
of
have an
dollars.
answer to that.
Yeah.
It's not money based at all. We have more than enough money to raise a child. Maybe not to, I think the thing is we'd have to make sacrifices in our current lifestyles.
Yeah, then that's fine.
And then the next one is, what would it take or what would have to happen in order for you to say yes to a child-free life and feel good about it? Nothing. Already there.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. And then it says, this time of exploration without the pressure of having to make a decision will help you discover your honest desire. Once you know what drives it from the inside out, you're freed up to make a conscious decision about what you're going to do. To entertain a decision prematurely without complete clarity of desire will only make your decision-making process more complicated than it needs to be and delay the peace and calm you so deserve.
Ooh, send that to me.
Yeah, I feel like
That's really good.
It's just like because again, I spent almost my main thought process during COVID. I mean, I did some like grief healing from a lot of like loss that I had before, an even bigger loss.
And God was like, hold my beer.
But I also spent a lot of like quiet time thinking about parenthood,
Yeah.
So I just thought this was very interesting. And also, I like that this is an occupation. Like any occupation, can you imagine like telling a couple generations ago that there was like a parenthood clarity therapist available?
Like, get that pussy ass, liberal ass bullshit out my house.
But I mean, that is a thing I do. Like with partners, I when they say they want to have kids, I go, okay, I'm like not being an asshole, but I'm like, please explain why to me.
Yeah, that's a great response to that.
And so often with men, I'm sorry, but it's like to have their legacy live on. And then I go, what legacy?
Yeah.
Your Instagram reels?
Your credit card debt?
What the fuck are you talking
Your
about
credit card
right
debt
now?
and your 5,000 followers?
What the fuck are you talking about right now? Your legacy? How about create the legacy first before we create the child? Are you out of your goddamn gourd?
I need to take a cue from men and just start really believing in myself too much.
What the fuck?
Because it's gone well for them so far.
On my legacy.
Yeah, the legacy.
legacy.
My God.
My sketches, my YouTube.
Because if someone had a good reason, I'm like, I'll hear you out.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm very interested in having a conversation about it. But and I mean, I've even told people, okay, I go, all right, so if we had a kid, then you have to do 50% of the work, and they look at me like I'm out of my mind. I go, okay. So what was this going to be, 70-30? Like, what are you talking
What
about?
the fuck?
I go, I'm like, yeah, you need to show up for 50% of the work. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Are you willing to show up in that way?
Yeah.
That
And
shouldn't
the
be a
answer's
hard
no.
that shouldn't be a hard question to answer. But it's
not.
also like when I ask people that to their face, it's like no woman has ever asked them that before. And that's on us.
Ladies.
That's on us.
Yeah. Before I sleep with somebody, ask them what their stance on abortion is, just in case, I don't want to run into some trouble.
I mean, there's no trouble. You just show up to a clinic. But
Yeah, exactly. Thank God we live in New York. Yeah, I was thinking about the kids. I've been pondering the kid thing again. And yeah, it goes hand in hand with the thing I mentioned to you earlier, that idea. And I really, I would want a simpler life. I don't think I'd want to raise a kid in the city.
No.
I don't think that would be enjoyable for me. Like, I would love to have a yard and stuff, but you would want like a simpler life, I think. But
What do you mean, like not
in
in the entertainment business, or?
I get maybe not that necessarily, because I don't ever want to not be in the entertainment industry, but like just like I always got stuff to do. There's always clips to edit. There's always just like a long list of things to do. And if I had a baby, you'd want to take time for yourself to just calm your body, calm your nervous system, bond with your kid, all that stuff. But the thing that would get me so excited about having a kid would just be to help somebody discover who they are and put a person that's self-actualized out into the world. Because I think that's one of the ways that you can help the world.
Sure.
But maybe your kid's a sociopath. It's a gamble. It's a low risk, but they could be. Your kid could suck. People in my building, I get stuck in my building elevators all the time with parents, with kids. And some of these kids, I'm like, that kid's fantastic. And then these other kids are just absolute twats.
Right. And it's also like giving yourself an assignment that didn't need to be done, right? Because once the kid's there, like, yes, now it is your responsibility to make sure that they're a functioning human who is contributing to society. But you could have just not.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because, again, like I already wanted to present that article to the group, but Eric, do you want to have kids?
No, not really at all.
And, oh, wow, see, where are all you? This is what I thought every man's opinion would be. I've been looking for this for years.
Yeah, I would maybe adopt, but I don't want to have my own kid.
I would totally adopt.
I would adopt at 4 or 5.
A 4 or 5-year-old?
Yeah, 4 or 5, because it feels like 12 to 13 years is a lot more manageable than 18.
Right. Well, and also those people, if the ones surpass infancy, they need to be adopted a lot more.
Yeah.
But also, so much damage could have already been done by that time. That's why many people don't. But it's a much nobler thing to do.
Yeah.
So good on you.
I would I could see myself in my 50s just adopting like an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Being like, let's go, baby.
And then
let's figure this out.
And they grow up and murder you.
Yeah, maybe.
As a thank you.
But you know what? And the next life I'll come back and I won't adopt.
Well, yeah, I already had this article prepared, and then this reel from Shan Boodram, the relationship and sex expert, who's really popular. She came up on my feed, and it was basically like a reel that said the best advice that I got, pre-parenthood was just know that for the next 2 years you will be a zombie, and that shook me to the core. And she looks in the camera and she goes, I haven't functioned. I've been aging like a banana. And I go, this
cute.
is like, it's just so
bad all around.
I wanted to repost it and be like, are moms okay? Is everyone okay? Are you okay? Like, what as a society can we do to lighten the burden?
I wish our government spent more on early childhood care.
Yeah.
More on giving new parents funds to fucking have a babysitter and to have like the good formula and diaper. Like I feel like when the mom is less stressed, everything goes a lot more smoothly.
Well, yeah. And also just support systems.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why from now on, like I will only, when I give gifts to new moms, like for their baby, I'm like, yeah, the baby gets like one thing, but then the mom gets a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that was my mom's recommendation with like my best friends having a baby. She was like, don't
shower that mom.
And also like, don't just treat them as a mom after they become a mom. Like they're still a woman, they're still a person, they still have the same interests, they're still a sexual being, like don't make everything about motherhood because that's just a part of who they are. It's not the totality of who who they are. And I thought that was like very good advice.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
Die fi for the fucking win again.
Die for the win. But also I gotta be honest, like growing up, like my mom didn't seem like she was struggling. All these overworked moms I see on Instagram, I'm not saying that it's not an accurate story, but I'm like, my mom never seemed overwhelmed and she was doing a lot.
Yeah. Maybe that's in your genes though, because you do that too. You're really good at juggling a lot and you do not let it show.
I get tired though.
Yeah, but you still function well.
Sometimes when I wake up at 11:30, I go, how could we have done this? But the thing is, like, I trained my Alfred when he was a puppy to wake up late. I'm sure I could do it with a baby too.
Absolutely. I mean,
you just train them to get up later and then they could stay up later.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I babysat my friend's kid for an hour and she was just sleeping. So I just watched the baby monitor. I'm like, this is easy. Just sleep. You just got to watch them. You can't go outside. You can't go downstairs. But I'm like, that's not bad.
Right.
And then they start crawling around and then you got to watch them like a hawk. But
yeah, I think new baby, besides the not sleeping part, there's not a lot to do.
Yeah. And the 4 days that I thought I was pregnant, I felt so womanly.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I was calm. I walked slower. All these things.
I
I'm
walked
like,
slower.
Yeah, because I'm carrying for two, so I gotta fucking watch
so
myself.
funny.
But I had a being present and being grounded that I'd never really experienced before, and I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't.
A fucker had DM'd me about motherhood, and it was a really thoughtful. She was very interested in the fact that like you don't hear a lot of women in their 30s talk about I don't know, or ones who just don't. You don't hear a lot from them. So she was really interested, and she was like, I want to throw my opinions out just based off of everything you talked about.
Mom.
She was a mom, and she had some really interesting shit to say about motherhood and why she wanted to be a mother, and it was beautiful. And I was like, fuck. Like, and it kind of went hand in hand with like, I just want to help a person be self-actualized and go out into the world and have a strong sense of self. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the move, I feel. Because so many people go into parenting for control issues because they should,
I feel like most people, my issue with it is are trying to redo their own childhood.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so they're having a kid as basically this healing mechanism. And that's a lot of stress on yourself. It's a lot of pressure on yourself, and it's a lot of pressure on the child. See, I have no interest or need in redoing my childhood. And I also think the more we learn about ourselves and the more we go to therapy, the more we overcomplicate parenting. And I think who actually posted something really interesting? Marcel, Ruby Karp's mom.
Oh yeah. She's chill
and
as
her
hell.
own person. She kind of was talking about how you can have a kid and you can bring them to parties and have them fall asleep on coats and have them interact with adults and it'll be fine. You don't have to stop being you and only do child things.
Yeah. And her child is a fantastic young woman.
Yeah. I mean, definitely
So
very mature, younger, but not in a way that was ew.
Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah. You're
lovely,
just
lovely
you're an
young woman.
interesting person. Mm-hmm. And we had a conversation when we were adults and she was 16.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like we had to talk to her differently.
No.
Which was cool.
She was one of the coolest 16-year-olds at that time that I'd ever met. I'm like, oh shit, you could be this cool?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I really loved that because it's just you don't have to stop being you. You can integrate your child. And, and obviously it's you're not going to bring your kid to, party every Friday night. Sometimes you're going to go to Gymboree or a children's birthday party.
Yeah.
But my mom always did say, she's like, people overcomplicate things. She's like, you don't need a bag full of 89,000 things to have with your kid at all times. She's like, it's just not that complicated.
Yeah. I've been lucky to see so many moms be so stressed out because I think they just put too much on their shoulders. They expect too much of themselves to do those, to have 89 different diaper rash creams or whatever the fuck it is, be prepared for every single situation that I've been so turned off by that I'm like, oh, you can just be chill and raise a kid and it's fine.
Well, and your natural instincts will turn
Kick
on.
in. Yeah.
For sure. Did you have something to say, Eric?
Oh, I was going to say, my parents did the same thing with me and my sister.
What do you mean? Parties?
Yeah, but they would have it was pretty much all mostly adults. There were some kids there, but it was they would have every other Friday, just a ton of adults over when I was little kids.
And when did you start drinking, Eric?
Yeah. What was your first sip?
13.
Nice. Well, mine was 16, so.
It's allowed in Wisconsin, though. You're allowed,
13?
yeah, you're allowed to take. However, I think it's like 10 or 11. You can take your kid out and buy them beer. And
No.
wine. Yeah.
What are you talking about right
maybe
now?
they have high
in
rates of
Wisconsin,
incest.
Yeah.
They might have high rates of incest. Why are you buying your daughter a beer, sir?
I mean,
It's legal.
That's funny.
Jesus. That's
Let's
fucked.
see what the age is.
That's fucked. All right. Well, let's talk about something else.
I
other than
killed
kids.
that momentum.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I think it's time to introduce our guest, guys.
Yes.
You know, he's the co-host of Something Went Wrong podcast, but I'm gonna venture that you know him most from the cultural phenomena that is the Jersey Shore show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Guys We Fucked, Vinny Guadagnino.